back to Elevation 44. It's your girl B. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back, family. Today we are diving into the Gemini New Moon, and we have not seen each other since the Scorpio full moon eclipse, okay? So really quickly, let me know in the comments down below, how did this eclipse energy treat you? Listen, your girl was in it, okay? I was in it too. Just because I know about these energies and I bring you all this information does not mean that I am exempt from feeling and going through the things too. So I've been under major transformation, just with a lot of things. I kind of gave y'all a little insight onto some of the things that are happening in my own personal life in terms of where I was at. I know a lot of you have commented and asked like if I was okay. My energy seems different, and honestly, I'm just stepping into a new place. I am, like I say, evolving and transforming into something new, stepping into a new energy, and also just my energy is changing due to a lot of things, burnout being one of them. So I'm really trying to be better at allocating my energy appropriately, resting when I need to rest, taking a step back. So for those of you who have been asking and just genuinely concerned, I thank you wholeheartedly. I appreciate you. You can spend your time anywhere else, but you come here and you spend it with me, and for that I'm forever grateful. I learn from you just as much as you learn from me, so thank you, and I look forward to continuing our journey and watching it unfold and seeing where we go next, because this is not the end. I have taken steps back just to reserve my energy, but I assure you this is not the end. This is only the beginning. So just, taking a couple steps back to take a couple leaps forward, okay? So let's get into this Gemini new moon. And this new moon is going to be happening on May 30th, okay? And it's gonna happen at 7:30 a.m. Eastern time. And this new moon is happening at 9 degrees, all right? You're not new to this channel, you know we always look at the degrees. Now, 9 degrees, 9 in numerology represents completion. It represents the ending, but not just the ending in terms of finality, but it's just like folding over into a new form, because then we fold back into 1, right? And after 9 comes 10, and 10 is the energies of 1 and 0. So all of that to say, 9 is not the finality, but it is an ending of sort. It is a completion, but it is wisdom, right? And when we're talking about Gemini, the sign of Gemini is all about learning. It's about learning, okay? It's about communication. It's about our thinking, how we process that information. So the wisdom comes from applying the knowledge that we have received. So this Gemini new moon is going to be a beautiful time to set some intentions around some things, which we're going to get into in a second, because new moon energy, if you are new here, new moon energy is the perfect time to set your intentions, to put those plans in motion, those manifestations, plant your seeds, whatever you want to call it. This is the time to capitalize on that energy, right? So when we talk about, setting our intentions with this energy, it's because the sun and the moon are aligned and focused together in one particular spot. It's an alignment, a tight alignment at 0 degrees. The sun and the moon are like together and they're focusing their energies together, which is our internal needs, which is represented by the moon, and our external needs represented by the sun. So then they come together and they focus in one area. So that is why this is the opportune time to set your intentions, okay? Now, like I said, Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is all about communicating. It's all about thinking. It's all about information. And so when we talk about Gemini, it's a lot of those things. It's just one of the easiest, I think, energies to understand. Mercury is one of the easier planets to digest. And so is Gemini because of that. It's fast moving, it could be playful, very intellectual, needs to deep dive, needs to talk things through, needs to think things, and sometimes thinks things through too much, right? And can get stuck in the head sometimes, or not think enough and just, you know, just allow it to all spill out. But this is really the energy that Gemini encompasses. Now, when we look at this Gemini new moon, one of the things that I want us to pay attention to is, because Gemini is ruled by Mercury, we want to pay attention to where Mercury is right now. And Mercury is currently in retrograde, okay? It's been in retrograde since May 10th, and it started retrograding in the sign of Gemini, which is its home sign, right? And it started backtracking, and a retrograde just means to reverse its steps, to revisit things, to review things, just to go back and look over the things or digest the things that were missed during the first go round, right? So Mercury's been in retrograde since May 10th. It moved from Gemini back into the sign of Taurus, where it's currently sitting at the time of this new moon. Now, this is really about, again, Mercury being our thoughts, our thought processes, our communication. It really is about reviewing or reflecting or revisiting the things that really matter to us. What matters to us? What makes us happy? What do we value? What's worth it at the end of the day? That's what this is giving us a chance to kind of bring into focus during this new moon, okay? So this is really taking the time to nourish the things that feed your soul, identifying them and just what are we wanting to nourish? What are we wanting to have more of? What is it that we've had a taste of or we think is going to bring us that fulfillment or that happiness or that balance that we so desperately all seek, right? We all want that in our lives. We all want to be at peace. We all want to be happy and balanced and feeling good and whole and complete. So this is a time for us to go back to the basics of what makes you happy. Like, that's really it in a nutshell, okay? So again, what really matters to you as this theme is coming in, and it's about identifying it and setting into motion or planting those seeds, aka those intentions, on bringing those things in so that you can be in alignment, that you can feel happy and you do feel valued, or that life that you're living is worth it, okay? So one of the things that this new moon, well, actually two things, the new moon is going to be doing transit-wise is it's, number one, going to be sextile, which means there's going to be a really good flow, easy, breezy communication style going between the sun and the moon, which are that new moon, conjunct in the sign of Gemini with Mars. So it's sextiling Mars, right? And it's also sextiling Jupiter. I couldn't even say it right. Sextiling Jupiter. All right. So what this is, with this sextile, this easy, breezy communication flow between Mars and the sun and the moon, the energy is going to be high, because whatever Mars comes in contact with, whatever Mars is, you know, basically communicating with, it's sending energy, it's sending high energy, because Mars is all about that initiation. Let's get it started. Let's have vitality and strength and courage and all of that. So when we're looking at Mars in the picture, it is giving us the confidence. It is giving us the courageousness to really not only identify the things that we value and we want to align with more, but to actually make those happen, to feel good about actually going after that, right? Also, Jupiter's in the mix, right? And Jupiter is always beautiful energy because it expands everything that it comes into contact with. So with Mars is giving it a high dose of like energy, it's giving it an energy boost, then Jupiter is also expanding upon that energy. So this is really beautiful in helping us go after those things that we're truly desiring, okay? So it really is, at the end of the day, and I'm looking down at my notes, if you're asking yourself, what is she looking at? I'm looking at my notes. It really at the end of the day, it's asking ourselves, what do we value? What's worth it? And what do we need to shift in our reality in order to make that true, okay? So setting those intentions on what you discover through that process. Now, another layer of this, right? So this is the overall view, but another layer of this is definitely your own personal natal chart, right? So I always leave the details in the description box down below on your birth chart and the transit chart. So it's a link down there. If you click on that, you're gonna see your birth chart and your transit chart and how they interact with each other. So what the moving planets are doing now versus what your stationary planets were at the time of birth. Now, what this tells you is what house this or area of life lesson is this new moon falling in for you, okay? Again, when we come back to the whole question of like, what do I value? What do I want more of into my life? What is worth it to me? What's going to nourish my soul, feed my soul, make me happy? You might want to look at this particular area of life where that focus may be coming up for you, okay? So if your Gemini is in the first house, or this new moon is falling in the first house for you, a lot of that questioning could come up around your self-image and also your personal goals. What makes me happy is what you're going to be looking at in those departments, right? Self-image, personal goals. The second house, right? Gemini is in your second house, this new moon. You're probably going to be reviewing your physical lifestyle. Does your lifestyle align to what truly nourishes and feeds your soul, makes you happy at the end of the day? Is it worth it? All right. Number 3, your third house, okay? Gemini's in your third house for this new moon. You'll probably be reviewing your information, your communication, and your mindset, and how that aligns or does not align, and how you would like it to align. Again, how can I get this to work in my best interest, all right? The fourth house, if your fourth house is ruled by Gemini, again, your family life is something that you will be reviewing and assessing and be trying to set intentions around. Hey, this is what I truly value in this department. This is what I want to bring in more of, okay? Fifth house, your fifth house is ruled by Gemini. Your leisurely activities, so fun, the things that make you feel fun, light, joyful, creative. Those are the things that you'll be probably reviewing during this time. The sixth house, okay, is about your day-to-day routines. What do you value? What brings you value in your day-to-day routines? Also, it also translates, your day-to-day routines translates to what you do every day for work. It also translates every day what you do for your health routines. So your day-to-day routines, what do you need more of in your day-to-day routines, okay? Seventh house. If your seventh house is ruled by Gemini, this is bringing in your personal relationships in focus. What do you value in your personal relationships, in your partnerships? What makes you happy in this area? Your eighth house. The eighth house is ruled by Gemini here. You're talking about deep intimacy. What do you value in that, right? What's worth it in that area for you? And also, it could be what you share with others as well. The ninth house, if your ninth house is ruled by Gemini, your philosophy, okay? Your philosophy, what do you value here? How do you truly live your life? What is your mantra that you're using to live your life, and how do you value that? Does that need to change? Also, your sense of adventure. Your sense of adventure, what can you do to bring in more of what you truly value and makes you happy here? The 10th house, if your 10th house is ruled by Gemini in your chart, public and professional life come into play here. Your career ambitions, what do you value there with your career and your public life and all of that type of stuff, okay? What will truly make you happy in this department? Your 11th house, your friendships, your networks, okay? What do you value about your friendships, the networks that you have, and also like being a team player, like being on a team. What is it that is, worth it to you in that aspect? What do you truly enjoy out of that? And do you need to cultivate more of that in your life, okay, if it's not currently aligned with what you truly desire. And then lastly, the 12th house. If the 12th house is ruled by Gemini, this is really about what do we need to leave behind in the past? Because the 12th house is always the subconscious mind activity. So what do we need to let go of, to leave behind, put in the past so that we are truly embodying the life that we feel is worth living, okay? So this is a great house placement probably for if you're in counseling, or if you've been thinking about counseling, or just talking to somebody, a therapist, somebody that you can just talk through things to, like, so that you can get out. Because again, we're dealing with Gemini energy, which is all about communication. So the more you talk, the more you journal, write things out. And actually you can do that for any of these houses, any of these areas. When you're writing, when you're speaking, communicating, that is when the information and the stuff is going to flow out a lot better with this energy, because that's what it supports, okay? So again, we want to definitely dive into these areas and see where we can set our intentions to bring in more of what we truly value, desire, what we feel like is worth it, brings us happiness, joy, fulfillment, okay? So that is my little synopsis of the houses, all right? So I will leave you with the power crystal that I would recommend working with, power crystal and the power herb. The power crystal for this energy I would recommend is lapis lazuli. And this is great for revealing your inner truth, also gaining clarity. It's great for the throat chakra, which is all about that Gemini energy. So that self-expression, just the intellect, the processing of information. Lapis lazuli covers it all. So if you want to work with a crystal to support you while you're setting your intentions, I would definitely recommend that one. I will also recommend the power herb, thyme, okay? And a lot of people, and I try to recommend herbs that you can easily find at like grocery stores, or just doesn't take a whole lot to get your hands on, because I know some of them can be really tricky to get your hands on. But thyme is like something that you can find in any grocery store. You can even go to Home Depot and buy a little plant. They're everywhere, right? So most grocery stores, you know, like if they sell fresh herbs, they will have it as well. So this is really good for direction for your soul. It's also because of that Jupiter energy and that Mars energy, and it's all like really supporting high vibes and expansion. It's really good for abundance. So if you're setting any intentions around bringing some things in, like this is going to support that as well, okay? So the last thing I will leave you with is the affirmation, because the affirmations are back now that we're out of this eclipse energy, all right? And this affirmation is, I am aligning my energy to the things I value most. That's all I'm going to leave you with. I love you all so, so much. And I hope you have a beautiful new moon and a happy setting your intentions. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.